What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Occupation Nation podcast. This is Season 1, Episode 1. Today on the show, we're just going to relax a little bit and talk about what this podcast is all about. But first thing I want to do is introduce myself. My name is Zach Horvath, and my occupation is engineer. Now, even though I went to school to be an engineer, I was not always sure what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I mean, that idea kind of always scared me a bit because I was like, how can I choose something that 30 years from now I'm going to still like? And that question of what do you want to be when you grow up, I never had a great answer for because I didn't know. I couldn't really pinpoint what I wanted to do. I mean, this sounds cool, that sounds cool, yeah, but it's that commitment of going to school or doing whatever that really scared me. And luckily I fell on engineering and it's worked out okay, but I know people everywhere that they choose something or maybe they get pressured into something that it's not for them. And that's where I want this podcast to step in. I want this podcast to help people figure out what jobs are out there and what it really means to work in those jobs. And I want this to be a gateway for people to hear about something and go, oh man, I didn't even know that was a thing, and look into it, maybe ask around, and maybe that turns out to be their thing. It doesn't matter if you're just out of high school or if you've been working for 20 years at some job. This podcast is going to give you an inside look into all the interesting ins and outs of a job. Now, how am I going to get those? I'm going straight to the source. I'm asking the people who do those jobs every single day and getting from them what it is we want to know. Now, some of the questions are going to be general, what's the day like? What are your hours? Things like that. But I want to go even farther. I want to get to who do you interact with in a day? How many people do you interact with in a day? Do you sit? Do you stand? Are you out and about? Do you have to work with customers? Are you working just with fellow employees? And then we'll go even farther and say, what does it take to succeed at that job? What did you do to get to where you are? What path did you have to take to be where you are now? Is it technical school? Is it college? Did you come straight out of high school into the workforce? What did you have to do to get to where you are? Those are some of the questions that I want to get answered on this podcast. And now, I'm by no means a career specialist or anything like that. I just want to help teach you and me about these different jobs and what it truly means to work in them. I want to get deeper than that little description you see on some webpage. And at the end of the day, if I could help just one person out there figure out what jobs there are and help guide them into the right direction, this will all be worth it. Mission accomplished. So maybe that direction is college. Maybe it's tech school. Maybe it's going straight into the workforce. Maybe it's owning your own business, doing your own thing. Whatever you choose needs to be what you think is best, what fits your skill set, and what's going to just make you happy at the end of the day. So this is where I need your help. If you have an idea for a job that you want to know more about, or if you're willing to come on the show and talk about your job, just email me at occupationpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's occupationpodcast@gmail.com. Also, let me know what questions you want answered. Maybe I'm not getting to what you want to know. And make sure to follow us on all the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. You're going to get some behind the scenes. You're going to keep up to date with what's going on. And this podcast is going to be available on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and it's going to be available on YouTube as well. So come along with me as we both get to learn about a bunch of awesome jobs, and maybe we'll get to the answer of that question of what do you want to be when you grow up?